Hey, Vector Branches. Really excited about the work that's going on here. My name is Trent Booth. If I haven't had a chance to meet you yet, I'm the Training and Leadership Development Manager at Vector. A lot of my days are spent talking about coaching and coaching our top managers and division managers. And one thought really struck me this week. I was talking with one of my mentors, Mo McKenna, and it was the topic of, hey, what if I'm too nice? Like, what if being nice is actually hurting my results with the people that I'm working with? And usually when I'm hearing that, people almost talk about being nice as a negative, as a problem. And in the 80s, you need to know that, a management strategy was you could be negative. You could just hammer people and do whatever you kind of wanted. There was a mantra, hey, would you rather be respected or would you rather be liked? And what I love about our managers and our RMs that model this, they're both. I mean, I see Jeff Bry on here. Jeff Bry would be a great example of somebody who's highly likable and respected. In 2018, you don't have to choose whether you're liked or respected. You can actually do both. In fact, I would strongly recommend that you start with likable, and they'll stick around long enough to respect you as well. But specifically to that question, what should I do if I'm being too nice? And usually where that comes into question then is I'm not holding people accountable, I'm not being helpful. And Maureen McKenna this week reminded me of the concept of being nice versus being kind. And the simple analogy she used was a nice person, if somebody has spinach in their teeth, they might not say, because they're being nice. If I have a neighbor, or say I'm on a plane and they have spinach in their teeth, I may or may not say something to them. Maybe I'm being nice even by not saying something to them. I don't know. But if I'm going to be kind, I would tell somebody, hey, listen, you got a little spinach there. In other words, if I'm going to be kind with somebody, that's still using that superpower of, hey, I'm nice and I'm likable. But at the same time, if we really care about the reps that we're working with, we're going to need to have sometimes difficult conversations with them. And occasionally, people who are nice that have made that transition into being kind with their people, where they're bringing difficult conversations, sometimes you'll do something like add a preface at the beginning. Hey, listen, if I had an insight, would you want to know? It's almost like, hey, if you had spinach in your teeth, would you want to know? Would you want me to share that with you? Or would you just want to kind of go about your day? But by asking permission, and that preface ahead of time, hey, listen, my intention here isn't to hurt you, but if I saw something, would you want to know? My intention here, and the preface of, hey, my intention here is to support you. And as long as we've earned trust in the training seminar, which I think all of you are doing, I think that you've earned that right to be able to bring sometimes difficult feedback. Another encouragement here, especially for newer leaders, is to make sure that we're always correcting as opposed to punishing. The goal, if you remember the 1 minute manager, in 1 minute goal setting is to make very clear in no uncertain terms exactly what's expected of them. And I think we do a great job of that between the interview and our training when we onboard our new sales reps. So the second piece, though, is to the 1 minute praising. Catch them doing something right. And as long as we're catching them doing something right and be specific with it, that earns a platform for when they do mess up, when they do make a mistake, for us to be able to come in and be able to address that. The 1 minute manager talks about the 1 minute redirect. And the idea of a redirect is very different than punishment. One of the things that people crave the most is what they call psychological safety. And psychological safety, Lice, it really involves me feeling like I'm safe in this scenario. I can make mistakes. Thanks, Jeff. I have something in my teeth right now, apparently, and I might. So you got to check anyway. Here's the point. I was talking about psychological safety and the idea that you're safe and that your favorite RM won't bomb you in the middle of a video and throw you off. Here's what I'm getting at. Psychological safety. If they make a mistake, it's okay. In fact, if they feel comfortable trying, they should be making some mistakes, and that's fair. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. If they feel like they're comfortable making mistakes with you because you're going to come up and redirect or correct them as opposed to hammer them or make them feel bad, then we're going to be able to get a lot more done there. That encourages psychological safety. It's one of the things that people are looking for the most at work, and I know we already do this so much at Vector. So for some of you, you're already doing it, and I just want to commend you to continue creating a place of psychological safety. The 1 minute redirects, as long as the goal here, and let them know on the front end, hey, my goal in having this conversation with you isn't to punish you, it's not to make you feel bad. My goal is to redirect you, to correct, and to help you move forward here. Don't be afraid to have difficult conversations with people. At the end of the day, if they do have something legitimately in their teeth and you've brought that to them, most people will appreciate that, especially if you've brought it in a kind manner. At the same time, if we don't have difficult conversations with people now, some of those things can become really big issues down the road. Tony Robbins talks about Godzilla. You want to slay Godzilla when it's a baby as opposed to when it gets like big. So when you catch something early in a process, that's when we're slaying that dragon, when it's just young. So let's go ahead and do our best this week to correct people, to be kind instead of just nice, and get that spinach out of people's teeth.